Happy Pride once again, Threadheads. Welcome back to Pride and Prejudice, a title I am still very much proud of. Last episode we celebrated some wonderful love stories, and this episode we are ending Pride Month with part 2, the more Achillean-leaning edition. And let me tell you, if there is one thing I know for sure, at least more certainly after episode 1, it's apparently no one is more oblivious than people who are deeply in love with each other. There needs to be a case study about this, because we've got best friends who somehow missed the fact that they are basically dating, and then there are roommates who swear that they are straight, but they can't explain to us why they hate seeing their buddy, their chum, their good old pal date other people. Like, sir, please be serious. And honestly, that is part of what I love about these stories. Underneath the awkwardness and the confusion and the occasional emotional incompetence that some of them possess, they are reminders that everyone deserves a chance to love openly and be loved in return. Because that's what Pride Month feels like to me. It's not just about visibility, but also about joy, and not just about celebration, but also acceptance. It's the freedom to build a life and the right to do so with someone without having to apologize for it or feel shame for it. And with the current climate the LGBTQ+ community face, there needs to be these reminders that everyone deserves happiness. And I mean everyone. Hello and welcome, Threadheads. My name is Ashley, and today we are diving into Reddit's sweetest, funniest, most chaotic MLM love stories. Guys, this feels like Valentine's Day for me. I'm not even joking. I have been smiling all through. As the jury of Threadheads, I want to know, have you ever fallen for your best friend? And if so, how did that end up for you? Because for me, when my secondary school best friend confessed his crush on me, yeah, that friendship ended real quick. Let me know if in your cases, the feelings were mutual. Shout out to you out there. I hope you're okay, wherever you are. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a like. You can then subscribe and get notified whenever I post and never miss one of my usual spirals. And because I still enjoy enabling you guys, you book addicts, you find a link to the Google Doc with my favorite MLM and sapphic romance recommendations down in the description box. That is if you are looking for your next read. And you know, if you do have anyone that you want to recommend my way, I am not above begging you for it. As always, I want to say thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. And it also means that you are the type of person who can identify an enemies to lovers plot from approximately, I want to say, 3 sentences and a meaningful glance. Don't worry, so can I. Now, without further ado, let's jump into some stories. Ashley read it, and now, so will you. Our first story comes from the LGBT subreddit with a post from a deleted user made 6 years ago. They say, I am a straight guy, but I'm falling for my gay best friend / roommate. What do I do? For the love of God, I cannot believe I just typed out that title. I'm sweaty and I feel like I'm about to vomit up my breakfast. This is going to be really long and I'm sorry. I've been keeping this to myself for so long now that I just need to vent. I have several questions, but I think I should first give everyone some context. So okay, here we go. Almost 2 years ago, I, 28 male, met my current roommate, 27 male, at the gym. He's out as gay and I'm straight. He's a cool guy, we have a lot of similar interests, and we even have the same profession. So we hit it off as friends and started hanging out outside the gym. I guess we never really talked about his sexuality unless he was telling me stuff about growing up gay or coming out or stuff like that. He would talk to me about guys and I would talk to him about girls. You know, back when dating was still a thing? We were both single and we both became vocal about wanting to be in a relationship. Earlier this year, our city was going into a strict quarantine. His roommate decided to move back home with his parents out of state, and I lived alone, and neither of us needs to live with a roommate, but he's an extrovert who would lose his mind in isolation, and I'm an introvert who has depressive episodes. So I knew I wouldn't do well in isolation, so because of this, we chose to move in together. I moved into his 2-bedroom apartment into his roommate's old room room. Then quarantine started. I haven't lived with a roommate since college, so it's really fun hanging out with someone. We both work from home now, so we'd be in our rooms all day working and then would hang out in the evening together. We'd watch movies and play video games together. The first time I ever felt anything for him, and he says in brackets, Jesus effing Christ, was when I bumped into him in our hallway. You know when you do that thing where you round a corner too fast and run into someone? I remember that moment exactly. We laughed and I walked away. But at that moment when we were so close together, I got this flip-flop butterfly feeling in my stomach. I thought it was so weird, and I thought about it for a second, and then I laughed it off thinking I was so deprived of physical touch from quarantine. But then it happened again when he touched me to look at my tattoo that I have, and I knew then that something was up. That was a few months ago. It has taken me a long time to admit to myself that maybe I do have feelings for him. For a while I just ignored it and denied it, but lately I just really want him. The other day I came up behind him sitting on the couch, and I put my hands on his shoulder to ask him what he wanted to do that night, and he put his hands on my hands, and I almost died. I just wanted to reach down and hug him, and instead I pulled away. I got butterflies in my stomach. I've said I'm straight, but I'm not an idiot, and I know there's a spectrum. And honestly, if you asked drunk me a year ago if I would ever kiss a guy on a dare, I'd probably say I would. But if you asked sober me a year ago if I would ever date a guy for real, I would say never. But now I'm not so sure. Lately, the moments between us have been getting worse and worse. For a while, I don't think he noticed because we have always been playful with each other, but now the tension is starting to become palpable. Sometimes when we get drunk at home, there are moments where I just stare into his eyes for a second too long. And last week I went to the kitchen after a shower. I have waist-length hair and it was wet. He looked at me and snorted. I kept asking him why he did that and he wouldn't say anything. But finally I got him to talk and he said, "It's nothing, it's just your hair looks nice like that." And then he continued to laugh and he jokingly called me little metalhead. I turned so red that I had to leave the kitchen to go to my room. I hurled myself onto my bed and let my soul go to heaven. I still think about him saying that every single day. All of this to say that I really want to tell him I have feelings for him. But what do I do? What do I say? What if he freaks out? And also, what does this mean? Do we just start dating now? I don't think I could ever recover. Like, ever. Plus, isn't he going to ask for an explanation? I don't even know what to tell him because I don't know myself. It's like, I want to tell him I like him, and I want us to be a thing, but at the same time, I need help processing what I'm feeling because I'm almost 30, and for my entire life, I thought I was straight. I don't want to label him with that. I don't think that's fair. And also, what does it even mean to be a thing? I don't know how to date a guy. I'm sorry if that sounds rude, and I don't mean for it to sound like I'm dating an alien. I know I'm still dating a person, and gender does not matter in love, but still, are there any differences? I really don't know. This is so completely effing new to me. We are spending Christmas together because we can't travel home. We're getting our tree this weekend, and I'm going to tell him then. I meant to say I want to tell him then. I'm going to tell him, I just don't know how to start. I'm now crying, so I'm going to post this. Also, it's 11 a.m. on a Friday, and I should definitely be working on my computer, so it's probably best that I go now before my manager asks what I've been doing all day. I'm having flashbacks to the episode 1 where I just kept telling everyone to confess their feelings, but I just have to say again, confess your feelings. And I get it, OP is almost 30, he's having an entire existential crisis, and I think it's like a double whammy where you are realizing, hey, you're not straight, but at the same time you're realizing, hey, I have feelings for someone, so that's a huge thing that OP has to go through. But I'm thinking about this from the perspective of his roommate. Imagine you are gay and your roommate is straight, and you have feelings for your roommate who you're very well aware is straight, and you have to bottle your emotions because you're concerned that if you do confess feelings for your supposedly straight roommate, he might freak out, he might go full on homophobic on you, because some people say they're okay with the LGBTQ community as long as they're not directly in front of them or engaging with them, and that is very, very sad. So he might be there panicking that if he does tell you I have feelings for you, like, do you know how often people in the community get attacked or, assaulted? And he may be worried about losing your friendship if he tells you how much he likes you. So I think the only person who is best placed to really have this discussion is you. He might be thinking you just want to experiment, you just want to have your straight guy moment where you can say you've tried it, it's not for you, and he might be having real feelings for you, and that will suck. So I think the only person who can reassure him and really create that environment for you guys to have the discussion is you, just do it. I think that is the only thing I can say. I think you just have to let him know that you have real deep feelings. And if you can convey how you've expressed your emotions in your post to him, honestly, fabulous, because I can literally smell and see and feel the love from here. So just do it. The top comment says, "This is so cute, oh my god. But in all seriousness, there are a few things I think you would do well to consider. Firstly, prepare a list of the things you need to express. You can write or type them out and read them back to yourself a few times to make sure you're communicating clearly. These should include not only your feelings for him, but also how you are still coming to terms with all of this. More than one queer person has had a supposedly straight individual try to experiment with them for kicks. And let me tell you, it doesn't feel good on the receiving end. And it's even worse if you were looking for something more serious. So OP, breathe. Take the time you need to adequately prepare yourself with some self-care or things that you think will make you feel more comfortable or confident. This is a fragile moment for you. You are processing a lot of different feelings at the same time, and that is not easy. Plan this out. It's also okay to be somewhat methodical about these things if you're creating an environment that is more conducive to your being able to do this in a way that feels right to you, but also in a way that respects the person you are confessing feelings for. So OP, I wish you luck." 4 days later, OP has an update. He says, "First of all, I just want to say thank you to all the people that left such kind messages. Your encouragement took away all my anxiety and cleared things up for me. The 2 key takeaways I got were, 1, stop spiraling in your head and just tell him already. 2, stop worrying about the logistics. You obviously like him. Focus on that." And that helped me tremendously. For those of you that want to know the outcome, we are together. For those of you who want the whole story, we did go buy our Christmas tree on Saturday, and I'm glad I told myself I would tell him then, because it gave me accountability. I couldn't back out and say, well, I'll just tell him tomorrow. Plus, decorating our tree made me feel so comfortable because I realized that this is for real and my feelings are real, and I'm not just imagining things. I want many future Christmas trees with him. I really thought that once I started talking, I would blurt everything out and not be able to stop, but it really just came down to 2 lines. "I have feelings for you, but I need help figuring that out." He was really sweet and kind and gentle, and just hugged me without saying anything. So of course, I cried. We talked for hours, and what he said to me came down to 3 things. 1, he likes me too, but he says it's complicated. He said that as much of a crush that he had on me, he never let those feelings develop because I was straight. He said he's had friends who are gay fall for straight guys and it never goes well. He also said he's glad I finally said something because I could have literally overtly flirted with him and he would never have said anything, because apparently going up to a straight guy and saying, "Hey, are you hitting on me?" never ends well, which again, I get it. Side note, I asked him if he ever knew I liked him and he said, "I wondered. You're not exactly subtle and you blush a lot." But he did say that now that he knows it's okay and acceptable, he's looking forward to take things further and have those feelings develop instead of blocking them out. 2, then he said that I don't need to figure anything out and eventually I'll just know. I don't need to explain anything to anyone, including him and even myself, but he said the worst thing to do is deny those feelings. He said I can talk to him about anything at any time and that wouldn't be a burden to him, which I was afraid of. 3, finally he asked me if this meant that I wanted to try being together, and when I said yes, he said that we can take things as slowly as I wanted to. And then we kissed for the first time, and it was the happiest I think I've ever been. It's really amazing what can happen if you just open yourself up to love. The end. Thank you again to everyone. I really appreciate your help. So right away, OP has an edit and says, "OMG, this exploded. Thank you so much for all your sweet comments. I'll try to reply to everyone, but if I don't get to yours, just know that I read it. You were all so kind and sweet." Second edit comes, and OP says, "I told him about my post because I wanted to tell him about how incredible you guys were, and he's cracking up and will not stop referring to himself as my gay best friend / roommate / boyfriend. Also, he says he is so proud of this community for the love and support. He also says he's on Reddit but not on this subreddit. He's mostly on programming stuff, so I'm not sure if he'll go looking for these posts. And no, he hasn't read them yet, but yes, I will die from embarrassment, and yes, I will show him all your lovely comments. You guys are the very best, and now very, very much a part of my coming out story." And then the next year, OP has another edit and says, "Someone messaged me to ask if we're still together. Yes, we are. They asked me to post an update in case anyone else was wondering, so here it is." And then the next year, OP has another update and says, "Since this post is now archived, feel free to message me instead. And for those asking, yes, we are still together." Guys, I'm so happy. I'm so glad his gay best friend / roommate / boyfriend was a very chill guy. But do let me know what you guys think in the comments, and while you do that, we are going to go on a short tea break, and when we come back, we are going to go over to the next story. Now, going over to the relationships subreddit, we have a post by a deleted user who says, me, 22 male with my roommate of 1 year, 23 male. I'm worried I might be homophobic towards him. I know what you're thinking. Ashley, this on Pride Month, what's wrong with you? I don't know. Just listen. Just listen. First things first, let me say that I've never thought of myself as being discriminatory before. I had a gay friend in high school and we made it through some tough times together. I never felt weird about him dating a guy. So all of this is coming out of nowhere. Alex has been my roommate for 1 year and I pretty much knew up front about him being gay. At some point, we became friendly enough with each other that we could even joke about it, as in sometimes he would pretend to flirt with me and I pretend to flirt back. I'm straight and he knows that, but I don't feel threatened by him flirting with me. And he says that most straight guys do. The problem began because of this. Alex brings guys home sometimes. At the start I thought I was okay with it, since it's really not my business who he sleeps with. He's usually discreet enough about it that I don't see or hear anything that I wouldn't want to see or hear from anyone else. But for some reason, I've started to feel weird even if I see him with other guys. I don't know when it started, but one time that really sticks out to me was when I came home and saw him and some other guy making out on the couch. I'm not sure how to describe what it felt like to see that, except that for that moment, I felt so bad that I thought I was going to throw up. Alex himself was embarrassed. He didn't think I'd be home for a while, but I told him it was okay since I was embarrassed too. I felt bad for being as disgusted as I was, since there's no good reason for me to have a reaction like that. I thought maybe they just caught me by surprise and that's why I felt so strongly, but it turned out it wasn't a one-time thing. After that, every time he has a guy over, which is not that often, but every once in a while, I just started feeling like crap and wishing that guy would leave, and I can't stop thinking about what these guys might have done to him, even though I don't want to imagine that. It makes me feel uncomfortable and grossed out. And these are just guys he fools around with. I don't know what I'd do if he ends up getting an actual boyfriend. Alexis began to notice and it started to affect our friendship. The other day I came home right when a guy was about to leave, and the other guy tried to be so polite to me, but I ended up being rude to him. I don't remember what I said, but it was obvious I was pissed. When the guy left, Alex asked me why I was being such an a-hole. But then he asked if I had a problem with him sleeping with other guys. I said no, and for some reason that pissed him off even more. And he said that I can't complain since I used to bring my F-buddy over and he was forced to see me being affectionate with her sometimes. For some context, I was in an FWB situation with a girl in the early days of me and Alex living together, but I broke it off after a few months and I haven't done anything with anyone else since. I agreed with him and I told him that I was just having a bad day and I don't care who he sleeps with, but he looked more upset and he told me he was going to a friend's place to cool off. I said okay, and when he was leaving, for some reason he casually said, and you'll be okay if I sleep with him as long as I do it at his place and not ours, right? And I told him it's none of my business what he does at someone else's place. But when he said that, I felt sick to my stomach and I couldn't stop thinking about it. He didn't show up later that night, even though he was supposed to hang out with me and my sister. He's never blown me off before, and it made me feel like crap. But part of it was my fault since I made him feel like I was judging him for sleeping with guys. And now he's acting like nothing happened, but I'm worried I might mess things up if it happens again. I want to keep him as a friend, but I think he'd be hurt if he knew that whenever I think about him with other guys, it disgusts me. How do I deal with this? I've never been homophobic before, but I've suddenly developed some kind of homophobia where the idea of my roommate's intimacy life makes me uncomfortable. And I don't react like this to other gay people either. It's just Alex. I don't know if this means I'm only okay with gay people as long as I'm not living with them. Does anyone else have experience with this? I want to get over myself and stop whatever this is, but if I can't, I'm going to have to leave since the last thing I want to do is hurt Alex. Because if I stay here and keep automatically judging him for his lifestyle, that is what is going to happen. TLDR, my roommate is gay. I am not, but I thought I was okay with him being gay until I realized I feel crappy when I see him with other guys and it's starting to affect our friendship. How do I deal with this or stop being a douchebag?
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
I wonder, why could OP have these feelings? Why is it that he is okay with everyone else being gay and in love and banging, but when it comes to Alex, he's okay with Alex being gay as well, but he doesn't like when Alex is kissing other guys. He doesn't mind Alex flirting with him, but God forbid Alex flirts with another guy. That's a problem. I wonder, why could that be? Why is it that he has this sinking feeling at the thought of Alex having a boyfriend?
Gay!
I have this friend called the Green-Eyed Monster. You've probably seen him, OP, because I smell jealousy from a mile away. Congratulations, you're not straight. This episode has been filled with self-discoveries, and I'm here for it, okay, guys? Top comment says, are you sure that weird feeling isn't jealousy? I mean, this only seems to revolve around Alex specifically. And Amy responds and says, I thought about it, but I don't know what I'm meant to be jealous of. He definitely has a more active intimacy life than I do, but reacting like this to something like that seems really strange and irrational. And then that person who is still trying to help OP, because OP is clearly oblivious, says, yeah, I thought maybe you don't like seeing Alex with other people because you want his attention to yourself. And OP responds and says, I mean, I still get attention from him otherwise though. We're good friends and spend a lot of time together, so it doesn't make sense that I would feel like I'm competing with someone else for that. And also, that is a totally different kind of attention. Bless that commenter, because they do go back and forth with OP to try and get him to understand what they mean. And I guess it works because eventually OP makes an update. OP says, the day I made that post, I met with my sister Laura, 24 female, and I showed her the post. She read the whole thing and called me an oblivious walnut and said that it sounds like I have a crush on Alex, which is the same conclusion some of you came to in the original post. Anyway, she talked me through it and we confirmed that I'm not as straight as I thought I was. She also pointed out something in my original post, where I said I tried to reassure him that I didn't mind who I slept with and how he became more upset, and also how he brought up my old FWB situation. I just thought he was understandably mad at me for being an a-hole, but Laura thought it sounded like maybe Alex wanted me to be jealous. We moved on pretty quickly from that topic though, since I couldn't really handle the implications of that when I just started to realize that I liked this guy. The next few days were mostly me sitting on my butts trying to wrap my head around everything. I was scared of messing up our friendship and losing him, but I was even more scared that I might just let this moment pass without saying anything, and then he'd get a boyfriend and I'd have to see him with another guy. And if that were to happen, I'd probably have to end it anyway, since, as we've already established, I'm not so great at dealing with him being with other guys. I probably could have planned it better, but I just told him right after a Tarantino marathon, since nothing says romance like graphic violence. I told him that I've been such a douchebag because I was jealous. I don't think he got what I was trying to say, because he just laughed a little and said I didn't have to be jealous, since it wasn't like I'd have any trouble finding people to sleep with me. No clue how I explained it because it's such a blur, but luckily he saw how nervous I was, so he knew I was serious. We talked, and long story short, all that flirting was real, but Alex didn't have any hope of it going further because of me being an oblivious straight guy, so he's been trying to get over me. He laughed really hard when I told him about how I mistook my jealousy for homophobia, and he teased me by saying that he never expected me to be the jealous type, and then we both ended up laughing a lot out of nervousness and awkwardness. I've never seen him like that before, since he's usually pretty confident. In the end, we agreed to maybe try something out, and we kissed. I've never kissed anyone with a beard before, so it was an interesting experience, but it was also really good. Plot twist. It turns out I don't have any problem with Alex kissing guys if the guy he's kissing is me. And ever since then, we've been kind of easing into the whole dating thing. I know everyone here is worried about roommate relationships, and I get why, but so far it's been great. We had our first proper date last weekend and it was incredible. Although it was a bit weird since we've done that 1,000 times already, but this time there was a new context. At home we still do our normal thing, but sometimes we get distracted. For example, last night I almost burned dinner because I had to kiss him and we kind of got carried away. Lol. We're taking the whole intimacy thing slow though, since I've never done anything with another guy before. I am a little worried about coming out to my family and other friends, mainly since this is almost as new for me as it would be for them. My parents are very open-minded and my mom really loves Alex, but I have some more conservative family members on my dad's side, and I can already imagine them blaming Alex for turning me gay. They can also be pretty racist. Laura's boyfriend is Latino, so she knows all about that, and Alex is mixed. It's something I have to think about in the long term, I guess. And Alex has said that he doesn't expect me to jump out the closet right away, but if we end up calling ourselves a couple, I'm not going to keep him a secret or anything. So we are trying. Also, I'm not a homophobe and no one needed therapy. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I was this happy. I never would have expected this when I first made that post. It's a good thing some of you picked up on the actual problem and tried to get it through my head despite me being such an oblivious walnut. So thank you guys. Isn't that sweet? Also, if you happen to have conservative family members, here's an idea from your little black friend. Maybe don't introduce them to your partner if you've already seen how they treat a person of color. I think you can try your best to protect Alex, who is apparently a person of color, who is also gay. If you say you love someone, I think you should try your best to protect them. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to try to end on a positive note because I am happy this is a happy ending in my opinion. I think they just have to think about the future, but I do hope they are also happy. Do let me know what you guys think in the comments. But that is a wrap on today's trip down the rabbit hole. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching to the end. If you are seeing this, tell me one song you almost never skip. For me, currently on repeat is Andrew in Drag, which I think I'm going to play until my brain gets so tired of it that I cannot listen to it for a while and then I'll get back into it. I think that song for now is Andrew in Drag by the Magnetic Fields. I just really like that song so much right now. Let me know what your favorite song is. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and then you can subscribe to help the channel grow and get notified as well so you know when a new video drops. Also, if you'd like to connect with me on other social media platforms, I do list them on the screen with the help of Will Smith and also in the description box down below, so whichever one you prefer, just do it. I've got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Reddit. I don't think I have Twitter and I don't think I ever will because you guys are crazy on there. Twitter, Snapchat, what else? Telegram. There's so many apps that I just like side-eye people when I hear that they are on them, and those big three like that, like I'm not getting close to them. But you can connect with me on the other platforms. If there is one I haven't opened yet but you want me to, do let me know in the comments. I am always looking forward to feedback from you guys, honestly. And also, if you have your own questions, love stories, confessions, you want a safe space to explore your feelings, I am trying to make this place a safe space. We have our own subreddit, which is Ashley Reddit. Feel free to post on there. The one rule I have on that subreddit is be kind, and I have that rule for a reason. And you never know, you might be getting some nuggets of wisdom from your gal over here, which as you can see from today's video, I'm really good at giving advice. Anyway, until next time, keep it nosy and keep it cozy. Ashley Reddit, and now, so did you. See you soon. Bye.